Hey guys, in today's video I'm going to talk about what I tell my children about death, especially as an atheist and someone who used to work in the death care industry. I was a funeral director before I decided to stay home with my children, so I have kind of a different perspective about death in general. So here's what I believe and what I teach my children. I mentioned in prior videos that I am an atheist, which simply means I do not believe in God or religion, which means I also don't believe in heaven or hell. I believe that when you die, you simply cease to exist. So naturally, this is what I teach my children. But the difference is when I talk to my children about it, I explain that there are people, that many people believe that you go to heaven, you become an angel, you be with God, you meet up with your loved ones who have already died. And while this is a beautiful idea, and I really wish it was true, because my dad is gone. I miss him terribly. I would love nothing more than to be with him again. But in my heart, I just don't believe that's true. I don't believe that we turn into ghosts or angels or go to this magical place called heaven. They've only had one experience personally with death. That is our first dog who died last year. And I explained these things to them. I explained that, you know, his body wasn't working anymore. And so it was time for him to die. Just like flowers and bugs and everything else, death is a natural part of existence. You're born, you live, and you die. I don't teach them fear about death. In our society especially, death is a taboo subject because most people fear it so greatly. But it is a fact of life. You can't live without dying eventually. And again, part of me working in the death care industry, death is really not a big deal to me. Of course it hurts because you're losing someone, but it's not scary to me because it was an everyday thing for me. It's just part of life. So I try to teach this to my children so they're not afraid of it, but I also want them to respect the finality of it. Without sounding overly morbid, I do make my children aware that death comes to everybody eventually, and that their grandparents are gonna be gone, and mommy and daddy are gonna be gone one day, but hopefully not for a very long time. But I want them to be prepared for when it does happen, because sooner or later the grandparents are going to be gone. My dad is already gone, but that happened before they were born, so they didn't get to experience it personally. But we do talk about him a lot. I have pictures of him around. We talk about him and, you know, the fact that he's gone and what he was like, and it's just, I don't hide death from them. A lot of people feel the need to hide death from children because they feel like they're protecting them. But you're not protecting them. Children need to know reality. They need to know, just like they need to know that there are bad people out there that can hurt them. They need to know that there's other dangers that can hurt them. Death is part of that. They need to know that death exists and it's going to happen, and they should be prepared for it, and how to handle it when it does happen. So since our dog is the only death that they actually experienced, I made sure to talk about it a lot before it happened because we knew he was sick and we chose to put him down. They knew it was coming. I prepared them the best I could. I explained that he was in pain and he was sick and his body wasn't working anymore, and that we were going to have the doctor help him die peacefully because death is usually painful, and we didn't want him to suffer any more than he already was. And you know what? At the time that happened, the big boys were 7. Braden was 4, so he didn't quite understand. But I could tell that they were paying attention and they kind of understood a little bit. One of the things that I learned when I was in mortuary school is that part of the psychology of death and mourning, you have to include children in that, because children understand more than people give them credit for. And a lot of people make the mistake of hiding death and lying about it. I've had parents tell their children that grandma's sleeping. Then the kids are scared to go to sleep. They think they're never going to wake up. At a certain age, they realize that when you die, you don't come back, and you don't want to traumatize them. Lying to children never helps anything, okay? If you want to withhold certain facts that you don't feel are relevant or that they'll understand, then that's fine. But don't ever lie to children. Don't ever tell them grandma is sleeping or some nonsense like that. You can explain what your cultural beliefs are. You know, grandma became an angel, God brought her to heaven, now she lives with God, and one day you'll be with her again. That's fine if that's what you believe in. Like I said, I don't believe in that, so my children have the understanding that there's the likelihood that when you die, that's it, there's nothing else. And I say the likelihood because there's no proof. I'm not looking for religious arguments, I'm just saying, no one's ever gone to heaven and come back to tell us about it. But I do make sure to tell my children that there are other beliefs. I make sure they know that some people believe that you go to heaven, some people believe you go to hell, or whatever else people believe in. But I let them know that I don't believe in that. And if they want to believe in it, that's okay. But I don't believe that that's the truth. So that's what I believe happens when you die. This is what I teach my children. I'm very open. In case you haven't learned by now from watching my videos, I am very open with my children. My job as a parent is to educate them and prepare them for life. And I feel that by being honest with them and telling them what I believe happens after you die, I feel like I'm preparing them for the future. So I hope you found this helpful. I'm happy to answer any questions if you have. Feel free to leave those in the comments, and I'll see you in my next video. Thanks for watching, guys. Bye.